gluten steaks and stuff are made out of? It's made out of the flour. I've made gluten from scratch. And do you know which flour they use to make it?
Usually they're unbleached.
They use the white flour. Do you know the prophet of the Lord said we're not supposed to eat that flour at all? She says it is horrible to the digestive system. And it's like glue. It's indigestible food. And what you're doing is the properties that are good, if there's any, you're washing them away. And you're being stuck with what? You wind up with this, you start with this much flour, okay? You add water and it's a ball. And you rinse it for 20 minutes. You wind up with this much left.
I've made it before.
From scratch?
Yeah, from scratch. And I've never used white flour.
What have you used?
I've used either gluten flour or wheat flour.
Okay, now here's the thing. The gluten flour is the product of what I was just telling you.
Okay.
And then they dry it out.
But old time, they never used the gluten flour. It was always wheat.
Right, and here's the other thing. When you use wheat flour, you're washing the properties out because you still have to wash it. You're not having the whole fiber and bran and everything we were talking about. It's rinsing a lot of that away.
You can buy gluten flour now.
I know, but you couldn't back then too.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
But
back
gluten
then-
flour is still the end product of what I'm referring to. Right.
Gluten. Yeah.
So gluten steaks and gluten foods, really, we shouldn't be eating because they're indigestible. They clog up the system. Gluten products, you know, like gluten steaks and we really should stay away from that. It really does clog you up. When I'm saying gluten, I'm talking about your wheat, your barley, and your rye. Many people are allergic to this. Now,
You're talking about products that have gluten in them.
these are
Natural
called gluten
that
products.
have- The
Yes.
natural products that have gluten.
Yes,
Not
these
the
are called
whole wheat, not the whole barley, not the whole rice.
whole wheat, whole barley, whole rye are considered gluten products. The whole. Yes, these, if you, okay, let's make the definition of the two. There's two definitions for gluten. There's the gluten products that we eat. They call them gluten products because they're using the flour stuff to make it. But then, when a person says, I'm gluten intolerant, that means they cannot eat wheat, whole wheat. They cannot eat whole barley. They cannot eat rye.
So they can't eat wheat bread.
No. They have to
Made with
eat
wheat.
stuff made out of rice
Yeah.
or corn. I heard even some of these people can't even do oats, but I heard some can. So rice and corn, those are very common for people who are gluten intolerant. But there are people who have serious issues. They get the mucus. They don't drink any dairy. They don't eat any meat, none of that. They use wheat and they get the mucus, and I'm one of those people. There's certain foods. I'm starting to do process of elimination, but wheat, when they get rid of the wheat for a lot of people, the mucus is gone. The inflammation is gone. The itching is gone. The barley and the rye, the same thing. Now that doesn't mean everyone who's gluten intolerant is allergic to all of these, but most are, or many are, I should say. But they may be able to have barley and rye, but they can't have the wheat. That's where process of elimination comes in. You check for yourself. So what happens to one doesn't necessarily happen to all. Everybody's bodies are different. So is that making sense? Did I clarify on that? Is that clear for you? Okay. Because it was a little confusing to me too when I was learning about it. I was like, gluten, when I heard gluten, I always thought of like the gluten steaks that we buy and the veggie products you buy in the stores that say gluten. But then when people say they're gluten intolerant, they're not eating the veggie steaks and the stuff like that. This is what they're referring to.
So all the more that they would be allergic to the gluten products that we are.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very right. Okay, now, what's the next food? Nuts. What's the number one nut that people are allergic to? Peanuts.
They're not nuts anyway. They're legumes.
Okay. Legumes. But the world thinks of them as nuts because they're under the nut set, because they have the word nut in it. Excuse me. Peanuts are the number one culprit on the list. It can be so serious for some that this girl, who's allergic to peanuts, kissed her boyfriend and died because he ate the peanuts. Some people, like I was telling you guys yesterday, my girlfriend's daughter, she cannot go in a house that even cooked fish. She cannot go to a place where they cook fish. She literally goes into, she starts getting the hives and the itching and the ear can swell up and everything. So even if you smell it on somebody, or if you touch somebody who has touched it, or kiss somebody who has eaten it, some people are so allergic that they can die. It's a serious situation. Okay, number 4.
Why would they be allergic to something that's good for them?
I'm going to read a quote about that in a few minutes. And we're going to go into that and find out. Okay, number 4 is vegetables. Do you know what the key vegetables are for some allergies? Celery and carrots are the main culprits, and potatoes. But these celery and carrots are the main culprits. Now, here's the thing. Remember we were saying yesterday, before you go through step 1, the process and elimination of the milk, the fish, the shellfish, etc., somebody might say, I'm allergic to mangoes, but they're drinking dairy and they're eating meat. It may not necessarily be the mangoes. More than likely, it's the dairy and the meat. So a lot of times people accuse foods when that food is not responsible. You understand me? Yes. But when you've done step 1, hi everyone, come on in. We're doing part 2 of allergies. When you've done step 1, all the food items that we don't eat as vegans, vegetarians, strict vegetarians, then you go to this. Then the mango may be the culprit, but in most cases it's not. People say I'm allergic to tomatoes because they went and had a test done, but they're still drinking dairy and they're eating fish and shellfish, and it's more than likely not the tomato. It's just, it seems like it's the tomato, but they remove the tomato and other items and they're still having the allergy reaction. It's because of the main culprits we were talking about. Okay, then the next one is, this is step 2 of, remember we were talking yesterday about 5 steps of getting to the root of allergies? Step 1 was the milk, the fish, the shellfish, the egg, cheese, the additives, and we ended up with chocolate. Those are items that we as Adventists don't eat. And a lot of us who are vegan, we still have allergies. So then this is step 2. The number 1 food item related to allergies for plant-based diet eaters is honey. Not in all cases, but in most cases. The next one is your wheat, your barley, your rye. Yes, okay. Now, the next one is your fruits. Alrighty. Do you know what is the most common fruit for allergies?
Pineapple?
No? That is one, that can be allergic, people can be allergic to that, but this is supposed to be the most number 1 of the fruit for people. And they say it has to do with the hair. On the kiwi, you know, like the fuzz and stuff? Yes, it triggers a reaction for a lot of people. Okay? What about this? Berries, raspberries, strawberries. You know why people are allergic to strawberries? The seeds. They say it's the seeds on the strawberry that tends to cause the allergic reaction. Now, I don't know if you heard me say it. I think I said it right after you walked in. A lot of people will think they're allergic to mangoes or strawberries, but they're dairy consumers and they eat meat and cheese. And most of the times when they think they're allergic to those food items, they're not if they're still eating the dairy. In most cases, dairy is the number 1. In most cases, people who are allergic, when you remove the dairy, you've solved the problem. But you might have to get more severe with some people. And we're going to find out what Spirit Prophecy says, why some people are allergic to honey. Why are some people allergic to gluten and nuts and vegetables and fruit? These are foods the Lord made. That doesn't mean because they can't eat certain fruits, they're allergic to every fruit. Did God make a multitude of fruits, a variety of fruit? Did He make a variety of vegetables? Yes. And we're also counseled, if our children don't like it, we should not give it to them. But as parents, I grew up. You better eat your I did not like lima beans. I was made to eat lima beans. I gagged. I did not like fig jam or figs. I was forced to sit at the table and eat it. I thought it was such torture, And I said, I will never make my children eat these food items. So when my son Adrian said, I don't like carrots and peas, I was like, okay, before I'd ever read what Spirit of Prophecy said, because I remember I felt like it was torture. But some people say, no, you should make him eat it. And I said, why would I serve it if I know he doesn't like it? I would not want to go to somebody's house and them serve me meat and say, no, you should eat meat because this is what I'm going to cook. You know? So we have to, what does the Bible tell us as parents? Provoke not your children to what? Yeah, and that's the way we can provoke them, by making them eat stuff that we know that they don't like. Okay.
Don't you ask the reason why you do not want to?
Ascertain for the children. If my child says he doesn't like it and it tastes gross to him and he feels like he's going to vomit, I say fine.
You ascertain it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that to me is just like common knowledge.
Sometimes kids will say, I don't like something, and they never tasted it.
Well, let me tell you a funny story. I hated green beans growing up. They say your taste buds change every 7 years. I hated green beans. Yes, you can train your taste buds, but I'm talking about when you're on the SAD diet. They say like every 7 years your taste buds can change. As a little girl, I did not like, I despised green beans. And then one day for some holiday, I was eating, these are good. My mom and grandpa were laughing. I said, what is this? Green beans. So what I thought I didn't like at once, I now liked. So just because a child doesn't like it at a young age, they might grow to like it. But here's the thing. Do we not give them some type of salad because they don't like it? No, some things we have to educate them to like because they need a green. They need a fruit. Do we not let them eat not one fruit because they don't like fruit? No, we have to find out which fruits they like and buy those for them. We have to find out what vegetables they like and buy those for them. And what greens do they like. But I know some parents, well, my kids don't like vegetables. They won't give their kid any vegetable. That's not safe. And another thing, corn is not a vegetable.
Grain.
What is corn?
Grain.
It's a grain, that's right. Many people think corn is a vegetable. Peas are not vegetables. What are peas? Legumes. They're legumes. Anything in a pod is a legume.
You know, you were saying something about the last time you were saying something about the green pepper and how it wasn't right. We've grown everything in our yard. The green peppers, we didn't pick those green peppers and they weren't right.
What do you mean?
Where I grew up in the country.
Okay.
We grow everything,
Okay.
even green peppers.
Okay.
And you said that they were raw.
Right.
actually.
They're unripe.
They're unripe.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't pick anything from our garden that wasn't ripe, and we still had green peppers.
Here's the thing, the seeds that they now make green peppers are like a hybrid seed. I don't know if I'm